The shop's name is Anna and the war story focuses on the Second World War. The movie goes black. One thought something was wrong with the movie, with screams and gunfire. In a few seconds, as long as centuries, it tore at my heart. The next few minutes were spent in the bleak minutes of dead bodies. Although there are no bloody scenes, there are no severed limbs, but it's hard. The surviving girl, Anna, struggled to climb out of the pit. Crawling to the side of the dead, bury oneself in tears. Why mention crying? Because the whole thing only cried twice. Every time is so desperate. Anna took out the sky and hid in the local people's home. I thought the locals would adopt him, because they had a child of about the same age. But in the end they dragged it by force to a school occupied by the Germans. The Jew of Ghana gives it to him. During World War II, the German army slaughtered the Jews. You can imagine this little girl being brought here. What's the result? Perhaps knowing that the little girl could not run away, so the Germans didn't directly take advantage of his chances of escape. When the Germans went in to look for Anna, he had taken refuge outside the chimney. The mirror with the broken surface, so let the chimney be my shield. They did not know that there was a place above the chimney where they could take shelter. If he were not a child, it may be impossible to avoid. When there was no sound around, Anna gets ready to come down. When the dog barks, he folded up his feet again. You can imagine that he's very scared here. And where the mirror had broken, it had been broken at first. So this situation can be drawn out. It was the only way Anna could see the outside world. He dared not go down, because once it's discovered Anna can always see out of this window. The Germans outside are deploying strategic plans. The women help draw the map. The modern Anna is thirsty and hungry. He couldn't even go down to the bathroom. You can only pee on your pants. And because of thirst and even drunk urine, it didn't take long for it to rain. With rain dripping down from it, Anna opened her mouth. All attempts to borrow water, he came out in the night. Because of thirst, he drank the lonely water from his paintbrush. It was a really tough scene. If there is clean water, who would want to drink it? I would have opened the window by size. Look outside. I didn't realize there were dogs out there. Obviously going out is not going to work, and through this window. He saw what the German in the hat had done to the others. Anna looked at the wolf lying on the ground. Their eyes were relatively unknown, what Anna was thinking at the time. But the space above the chimney is small. Sometimes you just roll over a little bit and fall straight down. Very painful Dalai, that can only shut the mouth to wear away the tears. With nothing to eat, he could only find the thick water around him. He was not at fault for his age. What was really wrong was the war. In order to find something to eat, he even jammed the mousetrap with something. And then eat the food below. After eating, I went back to the mirror to see the other children can play in the water safely. Totally repressed Anna's envy. But all he could do was look, and he could only drink the water in which he washed his feet. Not every time there's a real thing on the mousetrap. Soup without food will love me for a long time. Through the years he wanted to go out and see. And found an apple in the hallway, but is it really an apple? It was just a few bites into the model. The outside world is inviting people into the autumn because of the cold. Anna took a cloth bag from the hallway. I went up and took some things that I could use. Compared to Anna's desperate life, the Germans outside are really in luxury. Have to eat, and all kinds of fun, there's even German cheating. But Anna Raleigh's old man's fruit when they left. Anna couldn't wait to come out and get the fruit. There is also happiness in man, it was he who wolfed it down. I haven't been so full for a long time, but they still eat them. Things have to get rid of. He also had to find a place to go. So he sneaked downstairs. Convenient. After the end, he saw a kitten catching mice. The kitten also became her only friend here. If the people out there are bad people, the cat is his best friend. Of course, if I want to live, must not only water smile with fire. So when I was searching through the school, Anna found the alcohol, specially put the alcohol in the alcohol lamp. Here, he uses whatever he can and may not be able to go without food all the time. As time goes on, the weaker she gets, so he went to the top of the attic. There are pigeons up here. But pigeons don't let you catch them for nothing. But at the door, he found specimens of the cave. Every time I see someone carrying food, how the cerebellum longs for others to eat and drink well, he can only open a book. Look around to see what you can eat. One of the moments that worried me the most was when a hungry child would eat anything on a mousetrap 14 times. There must be no poison up here. But if you are given food on the surface, be careful. Anna didn't know where she was at first. But when he looked up at the pattern on the bottle, and the white powder on his mouth, suddenly I felt something was wrong. He hastened to induce vomiting, because it could be rat poison. It won't take long to eat. Surely he would die, though he spat it out, but after all, a small part of it gets into the body. Anna was sad and desperate. But now he dared not shout. Because if a shipment is called out, it's bound to be found. That's when it gets tough. It's impossible to imagine how hard it is for a child to hold on to his side with both hands. By her side, the only cat is okay. She got through it quickly. It's snowing outside, he put it in a container, and then melted by the fire. For the first time I really gave myself a bath. Even though it's just a little girl, what girl doesn't love beauty? There are a few people who can stand the smell. But the temperature outside is getting colder and colder. He needs to keep himself warm, though he had cut off the fur that was advertised in the attic. And put it on himself. Everything seems to be getting better. He also found a mouse. You can attract a rat by treating it. So you can catch the pigeon. 2 has lost. What's more, in winter, almost all the bamboo on this side has been covered up, so Anna actually ate hot food for the first time. He shared the treat with the kitten. And the irony of it all, Anna gets a little pigeon. The meat is happy, a stark contrast to the German feast. But when Anna came downstairs, she saw a table full of food. He shoved it back into his mouth and into his pocket. There were eggs all over the table, bread, chicken legs, so many times, Anna was puzzled. He also secretly took a gun from the table. There's a drunk Wehrmacht here. Look at Luo Xiaolan, it really hurts. But when he was collecting books, people outside suddenly broke into him and did not dare to move. Well, they were all drunk. One of the German demons gave Anna 2 candies. I didn't quite understand the meaning of the 2 candies at first, but at least Anna has dodged a bullet. If it weren't for the fact that the whole group was drunk, he had no chance of leaving. Now that we have some food, Anna could finally take some time off. But there is always a time when this entertainment is useful because the weather is very cold now. So the Germans are burning underneath, they don't know there's a wolf up there. Is the temperature high? It's the smoke. Notice that sodium carbonate is fine. The German officer just arrived, so this side of the fire doesn't get bigger, but this is the end of the pot. Sometimes thirsty, there is no water to drink. Can you quench your thirst with only 9 joints on this side? You'll actually end up thirsty. But obviously you can't stay here forever undetected. Remember the first Wehrmacht in a hat who beat people up? When I was looking for something, I found it here. Then she found Anna pointing a gun at him in fear. The defense took the gun. Add a plate as well. You can give Anna anything you want. And listen to the ticking sound. I feel like this is a ticking time bomb or something. Because there's no translation, so it doesn't quite make sense. But the other person eventually takes it away. I didn't tell anyone outside. Anna's presence. Because even if he doesn't say whether Anna will survive, it's an unknown. Of course, the final straw for Anna was when the Germans came in with the dogs. Dogs are very sensitive, and have slightly unusual sounds, and he found out, so bark at the chimney. Now there are 2 choices in front of Anna. 1 found and 2 cats thrown down. So people don't get suspicious. In the end he chose the latter. One might say that the cat might have jumped by itself. In fact, cats normally avoid dogs and don't go straight down. And Anna is shown letting go. The second time Anna cried. The piercing cry of a child bereaved of a beloved toy. Usually called a cat here. Can accompany him to scold once. He did it for his friends. To avenge his friend's death, Anna took out the 2 pieces of candy she had got. You put poison on one of them. And threw it through the window. It's a deliberate attempt to get 2 people's attention, prepare to kill him. This is Anna's true rivalry. Although the Germans only want to kill their dogs. And it worked. After the dog eats it, a howl of pain, then the German army shot the dog to death. Thought it was all over. Anna even packed her bags to get out of here. But there were more dogs outside, and he was desperate. It turned out that everything was not as easy as he imagined. I don't know what Anna's feeling at this moment is nothing but despair. There are other emotions, but he was standing in front of the map plate. Pull out all the little wives that are in it. It's on the German map. It was the defiance of this child. But the war is clearly not really over. Although there was nothing he could do in the battle. But he hated the Germans. Didn't you tell me at the end of the movie? Did Anna escape? There is a glimmer of hope, but it is very slim. But what would he do with the rest of the candy? To end one's own life? Or what film focuses on the cruelty of the Second World War in a particular way? According to that precocious wisdom, it also shows the cruelty of war in other ways. What have they made of their children? One also hope there will be no station installed in the world. That's all for this video, see you next time.